Welcome to Subramani. I do a lot of sales training, especially for bankers and mutual funds. And I like to ask people some questions like what are the mistakes that you made and what are the worst mistakes that you made. So I'll tell you one of the worst mistakes which I heard from one of the independent financial agents or advisors is he said he was picking up a check for rupees 3 lakhs, considered to be a huge premium way back in 2003 2004 for a child plan. And while taking the final papers, he had to ask for the birth certificate of the child. Instead of that, he said death certificate. Horrendous mistake. He lost the business. 3 lakhs he must have celebrated. He must have told his wife, I have to just pick up the check and some documents and I'm coming home, or I'm coming to the office. Everybody would have been waiting. And remember, I'm not talking of 2021, I'm talking of 2004, right? So such kind of mistakes happen, and only after it happens, you obviously lost the business. So these kind of mistakes happen. Then I also ask people, which is the worst thing that you can hear from a client? And so obviously people give various answers like you're fired, we don't want to do business with you, my nephew has started doing mutual fund sales and insurance sales, so I will be shifting there, right? So are these the worst? Or even worse, saying you really have done a terrible job, I've got terrible returns, I'm walking away, right? Are these the worst things that the client can say? Or things like you really blew it this time, your office stinks, go get a deodorant, we can't do business with you, I heard you're doing a very bad job, somebody came and reviewed my portfolio and did this. Are these the most dangerous things that you can hear? The answer is actually no. The worst thing which you can hear is complete silence. When a client just walks away, he does not even tell you why he or she walked away. I'm sure all of us in sales have that experience of somebody coming in, doing business with you, staying with you for some time and then walking away without a murmur. You have no clue why they walked away. Obviously some other advisor told them that you're doing a bad job, or etc, etc, and they walked away. Even clients who have come and said, wow, you're great, you're the best, and they thanked the person who gave them the reference, all that, they can walk away. That is perhaps the worst, because you have no clue why they walked away and you have no way how you can analyze. Even worse are those who come, actually if you ask me, the worst are those who come and say, we just love you, you're awesome, we will do business with you, and you don't have to worry, right? This is very, very scary, because it is likely to make your relationship managers complacent. Why haven't you spoken to this client? No, this client said that they will anyway do business with us. So you start taking them for granted. Then things change, there is some performance appraisal, then the parents' generation is slowly fading away. Father turns 60, son says, Dad, this guy is not doing a good job, let's go to somebody else who is using technology. And suddenly there is a move, and that move happened because you did not pay attention, you did not have your ear to the ground. Now if you have 500 customers or 1000 customers, very likely that some of them are handled by your relationship managers. In those cases, yes, definitely there is a hearing problem, because you're not even meeting them, you're not talking to them, you don't understand the body language. And some clients will come out with, oh, you didn't respond to this SMS message or some stuff like that. That is bound to happen. But the worst is when you take your best clients for granted and you say, oh, ye to kahin nahi jayega, he'll always remain with me. That is one of the worst things that you can do. And even worse, I heard from one branch manager, one Mr. Mehta walked into his cabin and he very confidently said, welcome Mr. Shah. That's it. You screwed up on the name. He lost about 3 crores of deposits. This is about 10-12 years ago in a small town, and along with it the job. He was sacked. He was not sacked exactly, but he had to find another job, which he did. So getting complacent, being overconfident, and assuming that business will remain as it is, thinking, oh, these funds have done well in the past, so they will do well in the future. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Maybe you have a data to prove it. Maybe you picked up some funds and those funds are not doing well. The best in case of picking mutual funds is to say, these are the top 5 funds, top 4 funds, I like this fund manager, this is what is happening, etc., etc., and still let the client choose the fund. Yes, some clients will turn and say, what would you choose? And you say, my view on the market could be very different from your view on the market. My risk profile could be very different. And these are the funds that I have chosen. You could also choose those funds. That's a nice way of putting things, rather than insisting that no, this is the best fund and things like that. It doesn't happen that way. Please also realize that mutual funds' job is to create a complete range of funds. It is the job of the advisor to help the investor pick up the right funds. It is not for the advisor or the mutual fund distributor to pick the funds. No, it's not your job. It is your job to shortlist, give the advantages, give the disadvantages, and let the client pick up the scheme that he wants. That is the best way to do it. That's the best way that the client also feels responsible that he has picked up the fund and he has used you have provided him the reasons, maybe the links, maybe to some articles saying why that fund is good. All that you can do, but picking the fund is a client's job. Being responsible for his action is a client's job. So when the client says that you are great and things like that, absolutely necessary that you keep your feet on the ground and say, yes, but these returns of 40% which you got in your small cap fund last 6 months, I did not create it. We just allocated to that small cap fund which did well. But remember, all small cap funds did well. You got 40%. I'm sure you're feeling very elated, but the top in the class got 78%. You should know that too. This is difficult talk. Only more matured advisors can do it. But believe me, this pays very well in the long run. Thank you.